I'm Isis, otherwise known as Lucy of the trail.
Now I'm Jack Rabbit, otherwise known as Susan Letcher. 10 years ago, June 21st of 2000, we started hiking the Appalachian Trail. We hiked from Maine down to Georgia, and we turned around and we were having so much fun, we just turned around and hiked back. Part of the time we went barefoot, and that was what earned us our collective trail name of the Barefoot Sisters.
A lot of people ask us why we went barefoot. We ran around barefoot a lot as kids. We lived near a national park, Acadia, which is really beautiful, and there are a lot of little mountains that you can hike up and down. And, you know, a lot of kids, it's hard to put shoes on them. We just would never wear shoes in summer, and we didn't really grow out of it. So when we set out to hike the Appalachian Trail, we got barefoot with day packs with just a picnic in them and our warm clothing, and then came down the mountain and set out southbound on the trail. And we were going to put our boots on when we picked our packs up, and then we thought, why would we even do that? Why not try backpacking barefoot? For us, it worked.
We just said, well, we hiked Katahdin barefoot. Let's see if we can hike the 100-mile wilderness barefoot. Just out of curiosity, and then we sent our boots home in Monson.
So you never had boots after that point on the trail?
We did actually have to put on boots when we started getting ice storms in Virginia, right around Shenandoah National Park. And it wasn't the cold necessarily. We'd walk barefoot in an inch or two of snow, and that was all right because we had pretty thick calluses and we, good circulation. Our feet were happy in that. But when you get ice storms, you get, you're slipping on that ice. Your body heat goes through the calluses enough to melt the ice, and so that was even slipperier than walking in shoes. Usually walking barefoot you get great traction, but ice is just not a good surface for it. So we put on shoes and eventually boots and snowshoes in some of the areas in the south. But as soon as the snow had melted again and it was warm enough in the south, we were barefoot for probably another 200 miles at the south end of the trail.
Now when you girls were hiking, I didn't get to meet you the year you hiked, and I lived in Duncannon and I heard about you.
We heard about you from friends.
Did you? And the rumor was that you girls did not own any shoes, and that is why you were hiking barefoot.
Oh man.
So that part wasn't true, right?
That's a good one. There was also a rumor we were 8 feet tall and that we carried broadswords.
And another guy who met us, he said, when I heard that there were two sisters hiking barefoot, I was expecting 60-year-old rednecks.
With no teeth.
With no teeth. With no teeth. I guess that was we figured we'd be walking around barefoot.
There were a lot of rumors about us, but if you want the truth, read the book.
Read the book. Yeah. Well, I hope you sell lots of books, and thank you for coming to the museum today.
Thank you so much, Mary, and thanks for your work here.
You bet. And make sure you see the museum before you leave.
Oh yeah.
All right.
We'll be there.
Thank you, girls.
Beautiful cherry tree yet. It stood beside the gravel road that the trail followed, with all its limbs weighted down with glossy purple fruit. I reached for the closest branch. I could clutch a few cherries between my fingertips, but the rest sprang maddeningly out of reach. Isis watched with dismay. Maybe we can climb it, she suggested, laying her pack down in the gravel. The smooth bark trunk, as thick as my waist, didn't appear to offer any handholds. But I knew my sister would be able to get up it if anyone could. She stopped at the edge of the road, though. There's poison ivy all over the ground underneath it. Sure enough, the shiny triple leaves were everywhere along the roadside, forming a kind of vegetative moat. Damn, it's just like that cherry tree in the roller coaster, I said. The fruit looked so good that I was tempted to wade in anyway. Isis had a better idea, though. Do you remember those apple pickers our dad made? Oh yeah! I bet we could make something like that. Isis furrowed her brow, concentrating. Then a smile came over her face. She took her nylon water bottle holster off the waist belt of her pack and tied it to the end of one of her forked hiking sticks. The edge of the bag didn't offer enough resistance to knock the cherries down, though, and they remained on the branch, swaying tantalizingly out of reach. There's got to be a way. Aha! She took out the length of string to hang our food bags from trees and threaded it through the top of the nylon bag. Jackrabbit, when I get it positioned around a good clump of cherries, you pull it tight. She lifted the contraption into position. Okay, now. I yanked on the string. Isis brought down a stained water bottle holster, a good quantity of cherry juice and squashed fruit, and 3 whole cherries. That worked, kind of. We repeated this performance over and over, eating the dark fruit until our hands were sticky with juice and our tongues were bright purple. Isis was preparing the cherry picker for another load when I heard a slight sound and glanced over my shoulder. I was surprised to see a hiker standing in the road. He was slight and gray-haired, with a fine-boned face and light blue eyes. The bemused expression on his face suggested that he'd been watching us for a while, and still hadn't quite figured out what we were doing. "Hello," he said. "I am Mountain Dancer." We gave our names. "Oh, the Barefoot Sisters. I've wanted to meet you for a long time." His slight French accent was enough to tip Isis off. "Parlez-vous français?" she asked, barely able to contain her excitement. I knew it had been a long time since she had gotten to practice her French. They conversed for a few minutes. "I am curious, Jackrabbit. What is it you are doing?" "We're picking cherries," I told him. "Ah. It's kind of slow this way, though," I said, as I tightened the string on another messy bagful. "Maybe I could help you," Mountain Dancer said. "One of you could sit on my shoulders." I could hardly picture it. He was wiry and thin and about half my size. I tried not to laugh, but a giggle escaped anyway. Mountain Dancer chuckled too, and in a moment we were all shaking with laughter. When we had caught our breath, I squatted down, and Isis helped Mountain Dancer climb onto my shoulders. I straightened up slowly, feeling my spine compressed. I was accustomed to carrying another 40 pounds, but a wobbly top-heavy 160 was pushing it. The weight was tolerable as long as I didn't try to move too much, though, and in a few minutes Mountain Dancer had filled Isis's water bottle with fruit. I set him down carefully, and we sat on our packs on the gravel road, passing the liter of cherries around. "This is so much fun," Mountain Dancer said. A look of regret crossed his face. "I will miss this trail." "We're only halfway done with it," I said. He sighed. "I forget what I said in French and what in English. I have to leave the trail tomorrow." "Tomorrow, after you've come so far?" "My mother, she is not well. Someone has to look after her. She had another stroke." "I'm sorry to hear that," I told him. "The trail will always be here, that is what I tell myself. I only hope that when I have the time to return, I will still have the strength to hike." All day, clouds had been gathering, stacking up in great towers above the treetops. By the time we reached Pine Grove Furnace State Park, the sun was hidden. The air was still hot, and an oppressive silence reigned. Isis, Mountain Dancer, and I dropped our packs on the porch of the hostel, which was still closed for the day, and made a beeline for the pond.
Well, I love to go hiking on the Nene, miles away from any road, where the trees are all green and the air is pristine, and you're never gonna find a commode. Dig a hole up your load, dig a hole up your load, that's what you gotta do. And you gotta love New Hampshire with the AMC, where you have to pay so you don't spoil it. But with stealthing on the ridges, spotting flies and gnats and midges, you're never gonna find yourself a toilet. Dig a hole up your load, dig a hole up your load, that's what you gotta do. And I love to hike the switchback of Vermont AG, seeing how much pie I can consume. There's a cafe at every road, but when you gotta dump your load, you hike to half a mile from the restroom. Dig a hole up your load, dig a hole up your load, that's what you gotta do. And I love mosquito juice and the sports of bugs. Man, I wish the bleachers had some screen. When you're casting a ball with the bugs thick and fall, it's awful hard to find a latrine. Dig a hole up your load, dig a hole up your load, that's what you gotta do. And I love the Housatonic in Connecticut. Don't know how many times we went across it, having lunch off the trail and back on without tail, just in time to need the water closet. Dig a hole up your load, dig a hole up your load, that's what you gotta do. And I love the white clay sidewalks of New vacation. When you're out of the zoo where the meeting's with you, you're never gonna find a conversation. Dig a hole up your load, dig a hole up your load. That's what you gotta do. And I love to hike New Jersey, it's the Gardners PA. Poison ivy forms the understory. Like the bear in the ear, my understanding is clear. All of nature is my laboratory. Dig a hole up your load, dig a hole up your load. That's what you gotta do. And I love to hike the ridges of the AAT, where the famous rocks are always rolling. Well, despite some folks' predictions, they cause us no affliction, but it's hard to find some dirt to dig your hole in. Move a rock, jump your load, move a rock, jump your load. That's what you gotta do. And I love the state of Maryland, it's short but sweet. Never even had to change my skivvies. I went through in 2 days, I'm a wimp, but well, hey, I never dumped my load inside a privy. Dig a hole up your load, dig a hole up your load. That's what you gotta do. And I hiked to West Virginia in an hour or two. One look at the state and then you're gone. But it's really rather painting with a few miles to maintain. They never even built us a dog. Dig a hole up your load, dig a hole up your load. That's what you gotta do. And I wish I was a bear in Shenandoah Park. I'd sneak right up behind you and I'd scare you. Then I'd open your pack and I'd have you a snack, and the whole AP would be my privy area. Dig a hole up your load, dig a hole up your load. That's what you gotta do. And I love to hike in winter down in Tennessee, where the snowflakes sails and dance about us. Every shelter's got a shovel, but you're gonna be in trouble if you go looking for the outhouse. Shovel snow up your load, shovel snow up your load. That's what you gotta do. And the smoky third February sure has rained. Every skinny ridge has got a view of fog. When the last of the snow takes the first of the snow, you gotta wait in line for the blue. Dig a hole up your load, dig a hole up your load. That's what you gotta do. Well, I stood a finger mountain on the 3rd of March. Nobody can say that I'm a quitter, but I just had to run for the whistle I was done.